That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright. Since my soul got a seat up in the kingdom, that's alright. My mother, how you walking along? Your feet may slip and your soul may lost. That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright. Since my soul got a seat up in the kingdom, that's alright. My mother, how you walking along? Your feet may slip and your soul may lost. Since my soul got seated up in a key. I live in a storm so loud.
In the heart of South Carolina's Low Country lives a craft that has been practiced for over 300 years. Living in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, women of African descent weave intricate baskets out of marsh grasses, which they sell to the public. Most of these women learn the skill when they are young, usually from their older female relatives. To the casual passerby, the baskets are quaint souvenirs, but to the women who weave them, they are much more. These baskets represent over 300 years' worth of history and kinship, spanning work on rice plantations to the Civil War, from the perils of being a freed slave to the economic hardships of the Great Depression. Though the past centuries have been fraught with adversity, women continued to weave baskets. Now, however, they face what might be their greatest challenge yet, the depletion of the very resources from which their baskets are made. The beginning of Sweetgrass basketry in the New World is quite a remarkable one, a culmination of social and ecological factors. During colonial times, coastal South Carolina was little more than swampy, salty marshland, not an ideal place on which to plant lucrative tobacco or cotton in large amounts. However, this was the perfect place to give rise to one type of agricultural behemoth, the rice plantation. West Africans had perfected the wet rice subsistence strategy necessary to develop a rice plantation, and planters became aware of this fact, relying not only on African hands to work the land, but also to provide the technology necessary to process rice. Interestingly, in West African societies, women were in charge of growing, harvesting, and processing rice. In the New World, this meant that the Low Country had one of the highest concentrations of female slaves, and in most cases, female slaves were valued just as highly as males. Socially, this pro-female tendency worked in the rice planters' favor, because women provided an indispensable piece of technology in the form of a basket. European techniques of milling grains entailed pounding it into flour, but rice is meant to be consumed whole, though it must be separated from its indigestible hull. In Africa, large circular baskets were used for the purpose of winnowing rice, in which the grains were tossed and shaken, allowing the hull to blow away. These winnowing, or fanner baskets, became the prototypes for the sweetgrass baskets seen today. These baskets were, and still are, constructed using a coiled technique, whereby the foundation, a bundle of material, is sewn together with the binder, or weaver. A tool called the bone is used to make space in the coil through which to pull the binder. Formerly, animal bones were used, but today a more common practice is to use everyday objects, like the handles of teaspoons. Coiled baskets were made by the slaves in the New World using bulrush as the foundation, and oak splits as the binder, creating a sturdy agricultural tool. The processing of rice became mechanized in the early 19th century, but this industrialization did not supplant earlier hand tools. The Civil War crippled the rice plantations, and after it, production only occurred on a small scale using African-derived technologies, among them the coiled basket. Though considered free, those of African descent in the Low Countries still faced hardship, especially women, who had long held positions of power in their culture as the processors of rice, and in their family units as the heads of households. Just as basket making had given women an elevated status on rice plantations, it would soon become a means of economic advancement. In the early 20th century, hurricanes and agricultural depressions had taken their toll. In order to generate an income, a few black families in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina began producing what they called show baskets for the burgeoning tourism in the Charleston area. They established roadside stands along Highway 17 North, where transactions could be made. Additionally, there was a revolution in materials. Bulrush and oak splits, being tougher on the hands, were replaced by sweetgrass, palm leaves, and pine needles, which were easier to work with.
That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright. Since my soul got a seat up in the kingdom, that's alright. My mother, how you walking along? Your feet may slip and your soul may lost. Since my soul got seated up in a key. That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright. Since my soul got a seat up in the kingdom, that's alright. My mother, how you walking along? Your feet may slip and your soul may lost. Since my soul got seated up in a key. That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright. Since my soul got a seat up in the kingdom, that's alright. My mother, how you walking along? Your feet may slip and your soul may lost. Since my soul got seated up in a key. That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright. Since my soul got a seat up in the kingdom, that's alright.